Thank you. And thank you to the chairman and ranking member. Such an important issue. So appreciate your work here, and to the panelists for being here. And Ms. Goldring, I want to thank you for being here today as well and sharing your story with our subcommittee. I think we all agree it's critical that we understand your experience, the experience of many across this country, and really try to fix or at least address what we're hearing are some of the concerns. Let me follow up on Senator Cardin's questions around transparency. Unfortunately, as we all know, we have a tremendous lack of transparency when it comes to the U.S. transplant system. And even when information is made available, and I hear this in my state, it is difficult to find and hard to understand. This fosters mistrust and reinforces the complexity of navigating a transplant network, a system that should be, I believe, and I think many of us, as transparent as possible. Dr. Lynch, what role does increased transparency play in impacting the quality and outcomes of the transplant system? And how can transparency help make sure the United States transplant system is really more equitable, as you were talking about?
I think we have a tremendous opportunity right now, Senator. I think this legislation is going to be central to that. Getting specialist organizations that will help us to rebuild trust within the community and for our patients is going to be a part of it. And then getting that, what we call process data, to understand how we're delivering care to various, socio-demographic groups, to various geographic areas. All that's going to be central into how we help the patients with organ failure, how we respect the decision to become an organ donor patient for those people who have passed away, and how we make the best and most efficient use of all the resources we have.
Thank you. And let me just ask the panel in general. In recent years, some organ procurement organizations have implemented new practices really to the success of their region becoming high-performing OPOs. However, I recognize that many are failing to meet some of our most important measures of performance, and quite frankly, that's why we need to move forward with these much-needed changes. And this is open to the panelists. From your perspective, is there a balance to consider here? Do you believe we should be working on maintaining and promoting the success of Tier 1 OPOs while moving forward with broader reform? And Mrs. Cryer, you can start. Thank you.
Nothing that we are contemplating today would disrupt or disallow those who are performing well from continuing to performing well. All it means is that we will have more OPOs who are operating at that level. As Mr. Wadsworth is a perfect example, leadership matters. So, and it's so important to the point that you made about equity as well, to ensure that every American, wherever they are in the country, has the same chance at a life-saving transplant and the same respect for their donation as well, no matter where they live. And we can't do that without the legislation, the changes we're asking for today.
Thank you. And I noticed, Mr. Wadsworth, you had mentioned the improvements of the OPO and an OPO in Nevada as well, and I'm curious about your comments.
If you look at the data and you watch it, you can see who's trending and who's taking it seriously. And if you remove the pancreatic for research loophole, you can see whose improvement is genuine. Now, I don't think giving anybody more time, their behavior is going to change. They are who they are. I think another evidence is, I don't think it's a coincidence that a lot of CEOs retired the moment this rule was announced because it got hard, right? That shows a lack of leadership in our industry. When stuff gets hard, you lead your organization through it and you help patients. You don't exit stage left and leave someone else holding the bag. So I don't think behaviors are going to change. The easy way to make your organ procurement organization look better was to take advantage of this pancreas for research loophole. And as I said in my opening testimony, that's absolutely perverse, and that someone would actually do that and be in a position of leadership and their board not act on that. That's extremely troubling. We shouldn't give them an opportunity to move tiers because they can do that and then exploit it even further on a larger population base.
Thank you. Ms. McCarthy, did you have anything to add?
As I said in my opening statement as well, as a patient, I cannot fathom why we have any of these Tier 3 OPOs that are being allowed to exist. For me, I would like to see them close down immediately, transfer the responsibility to high-performing OPOs who also happen to have high-performing leadership, and make those changes now. I think that's the only way we're going to start to see some material impact to patients.
Thank you. Thank you again for being here. So appreciate it.